So you're with me on the official Celtic FC podcast with Dante and Jools from the band Gun. We're talking about their latest album, Hombres, which is out now, their 9th studio album. You guys mentioned earlier on the fact that two of the tracks that you've written are on the soundtrack to Damaged. It's a new film that's coming out, Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. And what's nice as well about that is the fact that the film was shot in Scotland as well. So there's a real Scottish feel to it in terms of the production, and then also the soundtracks as well, which I think is really nice. And
no, definitely.
It's amazing, that we got those two tracks on the movie. The producer guy who produced the album, he put it forward, and and it's all been rubber stamped now, and it's a track.
Lucky Guy
and Pride are the two songs off that album that are on it, and
that's why they need the two of you here. What well as a team. Have you ever done has any of your music been on anything else before in terms of TV or film?
We did a cover version of Everyone's a Winner
on I Sonia.
And sorry.
No, I ain't told you, sorry. I
just leave it. I told
this is meant to be water, but
it's with what's her name? I can't remember her name. The Australian actress. That's
I told you, yeah.
It was the girl, the actress.
I don't know.
Is that the one about the ice skating?
Barbie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, none of us are going to make up a quiz team by the way.
I'm sure the viewers will be like that shouting such and such. I forget her name, but that was featured on there. And then we had the band El Presidente before that Jules and I kind of had worked on. We had a few songs. I thought Without You, which was in Manhattan, Maid of Honor, which was a Patrick Dempsey movie.
That's right.
So there's been a few.
Because I wonder what that experience is
Word
like.
Up was in Barbed Wire, her version of it. With,
when you go and see this film and you're sitting in the cinema.
I know. I'm looking forward to that.
And actually, you're suddenly something that you've just created. That'd be a strange experience.
I think Pride is actually played in the background, like as though it's in a bar. I think, and John Hannah is in it, and I think there's a sort of fighting scene. But originally there was which I'm quite gutted about. There was a scene that we have on video of Samuel Jackson getting drunk, drinking miniatures from his hotel room with sort of the crime scene sort of wall and stuff like that. And one of our songs was played in the background, and it was amazing. So he's dancing to this song, which is You Are What I Need, which is off the album, and he's dancing to it, but it never got used.
It didn't make it.
See, I always think that, but maybe it was because it was like, it's just too messy. Don't want to see him drinking, and it would have been the very first time that he's ever danced in a movie.
Maybe there'll be a director's cut.
Yeah.
Maybe
you never know.
But I think they were just saying what relevance to that to the movie is. Drunk in his hotel bar, so maybe.
So
and these things I think are quite. What I always think is quite exciting as well, because obviously you're recording albums, you're going out and you're playing gigs, and that's what you want to do. But you just never know where these other things lead to, because it's a whole different world. Somebody's listening to that and going, "I like the sound of that. Let's go and check them out." And
I don't know how many times I've done that myself. I've maybe went to see a movie or whatever, and then you hear a piece of music and go, "What's that? That sounds," and then you go and check it out, and then you're like, "Oh God, this is good. I'll download this."
I'm just thinking at one point the boys for the Calton at the Oscars.
There'll be
that'd be amazing.
Oscar soundtrack.
There'll be a premiere of it. Absolutely.
Who wear that T-shirt? Is it in Los Angeles?
You never know.
No, it's great.
We've spoken before when you come in a couple of times, and I think one of the times when I spoke to you, thinking, are you ever going to write have you ever been tempted to write a Celtic song?
Mates have asked me, a few mates have asked me.
I wonder if that's so much pressure as well, because it's.
I've got, again, but when you go through all the Celtic songs, and they've written about all the greats, and they've written about, it's just the wording of it, I suppose, more than. I mean, we could put the music together, I think, quite.
I know,
easily,
I think musically,
but, just what what we sing about. Everyone else is sang all the time. But, you know, I don't know.
I suppose we could sing about being for the Calton.
But even on that same note of, you know, like going to the cinema and hearing your song, have you ever been sitting in the stadium at Celtic Park when your own music's come on?
Aye. But have we done that?
No, but someone played, there's a track on that called All Fired Up, and Celtic had played it a couple of weeks ago. And they were at the game. We were at the game. We were in the studio, but
people were.
He'd sent it because you could hear it. You know, sort of a We have been in. You know, we have been in the stadium. I've heard a couple of tracks in the past. You know, that must be a nice feeling as well. So. Amazing.
Is there a wee party you want to stand up and go? That's
yeah. But, all fired up would be a good one to kind of to kick off with, wouldn't it?
But what we have had is the amount of times it's been played, like we've heard at Man United Stadium,
Liverpool,
you know, everywhere, you know, down in England, all the big stadiums down.
I suppose the kind of music you've got is, there is a kind of, there's an energy to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, definitely, I think.
So yeah, we've heard that a lot, you know, people saying, they've been playing it down Liverpool, and they've been playing it Man United Stadium, they've been playing it at the Etihad and everything else, you know, so it's great.
Because I wonder if it will end up on the Celtic dressing room playlist, because I know Matt O'Reilly's a big fan of Gun. We've interviewed him before because his dad was obviously involved in music, but he's got quite an eclectic taste for a young guy, and it's quite interesting.
Again, father passing down to
his dad. His dad's a musician, you know. His dad plays guitar and stuff like that. And was it 2 years ago? His dad played. Dom had played the garage in.
That's right,
Hill
Street.
So we were up jamming with him.
Brilliant!
And Matt came along, and I can't remember the big Celtic defender.
He was just on loan, I think.
Just on loan. Was with him.
I don't want to see his name.
Did he come from what team was it? He's German. He was German, the boy.
Yeah, the German.
Moritz Jens. Yeah.
He came along, you know, and, chatting away with him and stuff like that. But no, Matt is a big fan of the band, you know, and he sent me a really nice text saying my dad's let me hear the album and stuff, and absolutely love it, you know. And he sent us a nice wee video of to congratulate us about the record and stuff. But his dad's a big music fan. He loves playing guitar and playing in bands and stuff like that. And
actually, I came down, Dom, recently to London.
Yeah.
We were doing a showcase in London at the 100 Club in Oxford Street, and Dom was there.
Yeah. Oh, he's a lovely guy. Lovely guy.
And I know that obviously with the album coming out, you've got plenty of gigs going on for the rest of the year, but in the immediate term, you've got quite a few in-store promotions. Is that just going to be signing the album? Are you going to be playing some acoustic stuff as well?
I think we'll do 3 or 4 songs. I think in Glasgow we're going to be. It's going to be like a full band sort of setup.
That's at St Luke's, isn't it?
That's St Luke's is the 28th. I think it's the 28th Friday, but I think one of them's completely sold out. Which is actually we're doing 2 shows in one day. So there's a matinee. So the last time we did that was in Los Angeles, I think.
Los Angeles, that's right.
But,
we had to do 2 shows in the one day because
we had to jump onto the Rolling Stones tour.
We were playing the famous Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles. And it was Friday and Saturday, and you know the record company says we're not cancelling the shows. You'll need to do them, and you'll need to do the 2 of them, 2 shows in one day. So we did the 2 of them on the Friday. Because the Saturday was a travelling day to Rotterdam Football Stadium and open for the Rolling Stones after playing all these dingy bars around about America, you know.
Again, that must be in terms of your career that you never know where you're going to end up. So as you say, you're maybe doing something in a kind of small venue, an intimate venue, and then next minute you're at, I don't know how many, 60, 70,000 fans opening for the Rolling Stones.
Oh, wow, you know.
It's funny,
that's
weird.
So
when you do those, I mean, I don't know if it was But I remember doing the actual gig and going on stage and thinking, well, we've just been playing to like 100 people a night throughout a 2-month tour in the States. In fact, it was meant to be 3 or 4 months, and that's why we were so happy it got cut short, you know. Yeah. But because it was quite a grueling tour, that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got put, and then you're just, I don't know if it was the jet lag or just the actual fact that, you know, the next day you're playing to 50,000-60,000 Rotterdam Stadium. It's like,
do you think that goes back to, as well, we were talking earlier on about that, also the humility and never forgetting where you come from, that, you know, whether you're playing to 100 people or 100,000, you're giving everything anyway, because 100%. You're kind of thinking, well, you know, Paul, everybody merits a great show.
I like those shows. I love those small intimate gigs. And I remember, God, name dropping, Mick Jagger coming up to us and goes like, what you've got to do when you're, because I find it really difficult to engage an audience at 60,000 people, and you've got, like, you know, and person up the back, you know, how do you get their attention? Mm-hmm. Because, well, as well as music, that's the thing. What you end up doing on stage is you end up focusing on the first 10 rows people, because you just can't help looking at everybody. What you've got to do is you've got to look up, and that's what he says. You've got to look up. You've got to try and engage and look at people right at the back and try and do that through the gig. Yeah. So only way you can kind of engage.
Because that's a skill in itself.
That's really tough.
Because as you say, the temptation must be just to focus on the people whose eye you can chat to.
You just automatically do it.
Because they're all going crazy anyway, you know. It's like, this is amazing, but there's more people that, you know, you've got to look up. And that was one of the sort of,
I suppose that's that'll be years of practice from them having done that, but then passing that on.
Absolutely, you know. And we, you know, we did that whole tour. I mean, 30 shows just in a splitter van with a gear in the back, and there was no big buzz, there was nothing lavish about it. We were staying in 2-star hotels and stuff like that all in Europe, but we weren't giving a damn about that. It was just the buzz of playing with the Rolling Stones,
absolutely,
and everything else that got us, you know, we were super excited, you know, and that was just probably, you know, it's one of the high points of our career, you know, of opening up for the Rolling Stones. But here we are, we've got a bunch of in-stores to do.
Yeah, in-stores to do it, and then we've got these,
like I mentioned,
3 shows
gigs in Spain as well.
We've got Spain coming up in May.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of beginning of May, and those tickets are selling really well. But and then we've obviously got the UK tour coming up in December, which kicks off in London on December the 4th, a place called Scala.
Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah. And it ends, there's a lot of dates in between, but it ends in the Glasgow Barrowlands on the 14th of December. Yeah. So looking forward to it.
So you reckon if MD's going to go to that gig, they just hang about 8 o'clock and see the two of you just strolling down for your mum's
gig? They probably would die. So get your tickets for the gig.
Because the Barrowland, I mean, it's obviously you have a set of pride because it's a great Glasgow venue, but it is an iconic rock venue. Anybody who plays it
we
talks about it.
We know other musicians and stuff like that, you know, and who have played it, and we talk about it, and you know, the Barrowlands is, I suppose it's the equivalent of the Glasgow Apollo. I mean, Apollo was maybe 3,500 or something in there. Barrowlands is 2,000, but it just has that atmosphere. It's magical. It's just incredible atmosphere in it, where the fans are in it, and if they really like you, you know, they're really, you know.
How many times do you reckon you've played it?
Somebody asked me that.
Lost count.
Because I'm guessing the magic is still the same as it was the first time you played it.
100%. 100%.
More than
15 maybe.
Probably 15 times I've played it. You know,
that's impressive.
It's great, you know.
I think more. I think we did it twice in 1 year.
Yeah. We wouldn't play it anywhere else, I don't think, you know.
Because I don't think you can. I can't think of a bad gig I've ever seen in there. It just lends itself. But I also think it lends itself to like a band that has your sound as well.
Yeah.
It just fills it, and
I think also the acoustics in it for the PA. So when you see a band in there, you know, it's just right. You know, you know, it sounds great. You can hear everything, the drums, guitar. You know, see some gigs that the sound gets lost, some big gigs and stuff, but in there it just seems to just work all the time. You know, it's a great venue, you know, and we just love playing there. It's just, it really does, it really does, for us, make it the best venue that we've ever played in Britain, you know, sort of I know just because it's Barras, but we've played gigs in London, we've played in Brixton, we've played in wherever else. Just nothing, and I don't mean it's just like because it's home, but it's just not different.
Madrid comes a close second, though, I would say.
Madrid's an incredible city for us to play as well. You know, it's just they're fanatical over there.
I was going to ask you that. You know, you've got like a specific Spanish tour. Is that are you just particularly popular in Spain?
Yeah, it's probably it is our strongest market out. So, I mean, there's Germany and there's
Portugal.
Sweden, Denmark,
Portugal's big as well. We never ever kind of made it and cracked it in Italy, even though we come from Italian descent. but more so Spain, and I don't know what it is, but the reason again, Hombres, we kind of, it's like mates, friends, and stuff like that. It's a wee homage to the Spanish fans.
The front cover, I really like the front cover design as well.
And the front cover design is kind of like the Spanish colours, you know. So it's a little bit of homage to those guys. A bit of
marketing involved there, so no, it's a really eye-catching cover.
No, it's great, and that's the backdrop. When as soon as we come up, our whole backdrop is this. On the live, you know, like one of these, you know, like it's just like
it looks really cool.
It looks really cool, you know.
So I'm going to ask the one question I'm sure everybody asks, and you probably hate asking, especially when a new album comes out. I mean, we've already spoken about Fallen, and you can explain. But do you have any particular favourites, or does that change in the course of either the recording or the release, or when you're playing it live? At a certain point, you go, "Oh, I love this song." That becomes
for me. It's always been. Fallen. I've always, as I said to you, explaining how, you know, it kind of was like when he came in with the idea.
Is that with the magic of the song? You know, I've listened to other songwriters where sometimes they don't know where the idea comes from. It kind of just drops down, and you grab it, and there's that kind of
as
magic
soon as you hear it,
if you've come up with that idea, you hear it, and then suddenly something clicks.
I exactly what I'm going to do.
Which is,
I know how I'm going to.
How do you quantify that? You don't. It just. There's a magic to it.
That's the thing, Paul. Again, in songwriting, you know, like it's like if you hear something right away and it catches you, you know, that's just. To us, it's a sign of a good song, you know, like that. When I've put a radio on, or I've maybe checked something on Spotify. Oh wow, that sounds really cool.
Yeah,
and that's. You know, when it catches your imagination right away, it means something. So he got it. He got it right away. What we were trying to do with it, you know, and that's, you know, we said because there's times I've been into the studio, or he's been to me. What do you not like that idea for? And I just I don't like it. It's just, maybe a bit more.
You have that. You've got to have
the exact same to him, but when you get it right.
Yeah.
Right away, then it's a whole. You just build on it. You know, you feel good about it. You don't have to do. Probably don't have to do too much, but you need to arrange it right and stuff like that. But that's a sign of a good song, I think. You know, songs as soon as you hear it right away. There's songs that just grow on you. You go, oh wow, that's the best song. I say, but there's 2 or 3 songs. I mean, Fallen for me, is up there. Then I like Take Me Back Home. It's like a real rock.
It's really good fun to play. Take Me Back Home. But You Are What I Need is one that's it's grown on me now. And I think that's going to be that'll be not a single as such, because they don't do singles anymore, but a feature song off the album.
Because the one I just had a quick listen to it in Fake Life.
Yeah.
I got an Iggy Pop vibe from that.
I got Iggy Pop.
So it was, because I mean, you know, when they start listening to it, and that's, because sometimes you can hear an influence, sometimes you can't, and then that's what I like the vibe of that one.
Iggy, that's exactly where that's you know. That's where we're going with that. Maybe with a little bit of AC/DC guitar.
I actually hear it. I don't know. When I hear it, I'm like, I think of the Kinks for some reason. I don't know. A wee bit, but I mean, it's a good song to sing. We've not actually played that. Really looking forward to maybe adding that to the set. We already play 6 songs from the new album, and the album's not even been out yet. So,
is there a sense of, you know, no matter how many times you release something, and you know people will start to listen to it, is there a nervousness, or is it just the excitement to see what the fans react to, what they choose as their favourite, and how it goes.
It's a bit of both, you know. Like we had a wee listening party to like the real Special Gun fans who adore the band, who have, you know,
followed the band from day one.
You name it, they've bought a t-shirt, but everything, you know. And we had a wee listening party for them last week, and they come to the studio and
brilliant.
Serve some drinks.
That's a nice thing for
the
your fans,
special fans, and you're kind of waiting to hear what their response is and stuff. But they were like, "Wow," you know, and they just really grasped it, you know, and they just absolutely loved what they'd heard and stuff like that, you know, and mostly every album review that we've had has been 9 out of 10, some 10 out of 10.
That's really encouraging.
And
why no 10 out of 10?
I think there has been one 10 out of 10. But, you know, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So I think people are getting it. You know,
Stop going out with the marks.
Because I also think your true fans, they'll tell you.
They will tell us.
Which is a good thing.
100%.
Yeah, we've got them videoed after the show, after we did it, you know, and talking about the new album and stuff like that.
You know, our true fans, you know, because they've said it before, you know, about albums in the past, like, you know.
You know, it's the easiest thing to say is like, the new album's the best album. But you know why bands and artists, and you know, they've always got something brand new out. It's fresh. That's why.
Yeah,
it's fresh, and you know, and it's great fun to play. So you got to play these songs live. There's a buzz about it because you're looking forward to it. I'm not saying that you dismiss all the old songs like your Word Ups and Better Days and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you don't. It's just because they're older songs. You know how to play them. You know that, but you know there's a sense of excitement about playing new material, and the fans maybe pick that, you know, pick that up from you, you know, from the way you're playing and stuff.
Well, I think people go out and say, "Oh, this is our best record since that." A lot of bands say that, you know, but like what Dante said, I think it's the most enjoyable record I've ever recorded in the band. Honestly, you know, we have our own studio. We have, you know, time was never, you know, there's always time, get things done, time's costly. But we took our time on the record, and we took our time in writing it, and we just to feel good about it. But see, when we started recording it as a band, those songs, you know, it was just magic. It was just, wow, we were just all rocking it in the studio, and really, you know, just giving it everything, because you could feel it. You could feel the vibe. You could feel everybody being excited about it. And I think that shows in the record. When people hear it, they go, man, it sounds so powerful. It sounds like, you know, it's real. It sounds real, because we recorded it old school, you know, like everybody getting recorded, just record the track, and we'll you know, get the best version of us recording the whole thing. None of this, we'll record this wee bit and we'll use that and we'll paste it onto it. No, we recorded it as a proper band, like old school, you know, and we were getting sucked up with the vibe in the studio that I think it comes across the record like that. You know, people are like, God, it sounds dead exciting, but that's who it was. That's who we recorded it.
And to your point as well, when you said right at the very start, you actually enjoy listening to yourself on this album, which again, I'm guessing that must have taken you by surprise if you kind of got into that vibe of like,
you know, because I think like because you've recorded it so, you know, you've been in the studio, you've demoed it, you know, we demo it and then go into the studio and record it, and so you have lived with these songs for a length of time. Now, in previous albums, when we did that, it was like, as soon as the album came out, you'd be like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I've heard it enough times now. Yeah. But with this, it's been different for some reason. I don't know. You felt the same when you were. I'm listening to it all the time.
That's great.
And whenever a song comes on the radio, I'm like, just turn it up. Yeah. You know, and it's, I don't know. There's something about it. It's something, you know, that feels quite.
But I think that's nice.
And special
you've been doing it for so long. There's so many albums that still gets you.
Yeah.
So, and I'm terrible for listening, because when I listen back to the album,
are you critical?
You start being critical and you start picking wee bits that, you know, like, could have done that. Why did we not try? But this, just listen. I went, no, I'm happy with it.
Sheer
Sounds
perfection.
great. I love it.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
Got a question mark if you didn't give it 10 out of 10.
But no, so that's, it felt great about the songs, felt great about the recording, and I just think we've probably done as best a job as we could ever do on it, but I just felt great from recording it to finishing it, getting it mixed and getting it ready for release.
Brilliant. And we're hoping that it'll be a number one hit. We're also, since we're sitting in the Celtic Park, we're also hoping that within a few weeks we'll also be celebrating being number one come the end of the season.
Please.
It's
fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean it's in our, as we speak, it's in our own hands. Win the 6 games, we win the league.
I was just a wee bit disappointed with the last game against Rangers and stuff, but I still think Rangers would have preferred the win. I know we could have won it, but we went there, we've got the draw, it's in our hands, we're not out it, and I think, fingers crossed, I think we'll get over the line.
It seems like all the players are kind of back to fitness now.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing.
Even
that's a massive thing.
Even at
70%
Hatate, just wow.
I know.
Wow. What?
I think that's the word. You can't. How do you describe him?
What a player, man! What a footballer! He missed, and look at the amount of times he missed Vickers, as well. That defence is great, but it's just absolutely solid when he's there.
And we mentioned, obviously, we're not just going to keep talking him up because he's a big fan of Gunn, but Matt O'Reilly's season this season has been
incredible,
wonderful.
He's Panenka.
He's
Panenka.
That is so cool, isn't it?
Against
in front of 50,000 Rangers fans, and to score a goal like that, that's coolness personified. That was absolutely. That is like, there you go, take that. You know what I mean?
So we're keeping our fingers crossed. Anyway.
Absolutely. I hope he stays. I really do. But but
no, I say Mary's after you. See how we play.
And again, once Calmac's back to his fitness, you know what he's like in that. I don't know how many times he's bossed that game. He's but it was Hatate for me. I just thought phenomenal footballer.
How do you watch the games then? If you're, wherever you're, do you always try and find somewhere wherever you are in the world?
Celtic TV, we've got
Celtic TV, yeah.
Absolutely, we've got it.
That's what we've got. So
Dante and
anywhere we watch it.
We've got in-stores.
Next this week.
This week, next week. So St Mirren game we're away. We're up in Dundee, I think, and then
Dundee.
Yeah, because I was just going to tell people, if you go into www.gunofficial.co.uk/tour, that will give you all the details of all the in-stores. Yeah. And there's also information, as I say, if you're listening and watching in Spain, there's plenty of gigs there. Brilliant. And then also the UK tour. I think if you can go on, and there's various bundles if you can get of the album. Yeah. There's also gig tickets. The Barland gig is one not to be missed, of course, but if you're elsewhere in the UK... and then in the meantime, obviously, you can, because one of the things I think is, again, we spoke earlier on about the fact that we're of a certain vintage. It must be great that vinyl has made such a resurgence as well.
That's the one.
Because that's a work of art as well.
Yes.
As the actual the album.
Well, years ago,
can I see that album? Sorry.
Well, years ago when we used to.
Because I'm really curious. This is for you, by the way. This album.
All right, thank you.
Well, can we keep it? I would like to see this album.
But years ago,
carry on, Tom.
We went from vinyl. We went from vinyl to digital.
Yeah,
that cost a fortune to record like that. Now, try to go back to vinyl. A lot of bands now are going back to vinyl because it sounds so much better. Because
I love that. That way, if you still get old. I've still got quite a lot of old vinyl albums.
Absolutely.
And there's a certain... People always talk about it, it's slightly cliched, but it is true, that sound when you put the needle down.
Analogy sound.
There's just something magical, even before you hear the first bars of the song. So.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
When you buy your album, it's going to be easier to get the record out.
It's precious. I know. Right, I've got it, I know. But I wanted to see, because this album cover is a bit different. That's me, I've got it now. So I think there's certain ones you can
different
get.
colours, different vinyls. There's,
but yeah, this is your one.
this is the green, white and gold one.
That'd be amazing.
That's the next album.
Absolutely.
So inside it, as you can see, it's a big picture there. Hold that a second, Jules. This is a white vinyl, I'm sure, which I was dying to see.
Right.
So
wow.
So this is pretty cool. There's not many of these going about. So that's the white vinyl.
Wow.
That is impressive.
Which is pretty cool.
See, I always
you just buy it for that.
I just think
the songs are rubbish, but
again, what I think, we were speaking earlier on about like young people coming to the gigs. I think it's great that a lot of young people are embracing vinyl as well now. As a kind of a way of listening to music. But it's more than just the listening. It's as you're listening to that, then you're looking at the sleeve.
But that's a whole thing.
You remember putting sleeves up on your wall and stuff. And
it's a process. There's nothing better. You buy a new album, and you open the sleeve. I want to see. You're listening to it in the background.
Exactly.
And you want to see where it's recorded, who have they friended in it, and
I've got 4 or 5 mates who have not downloaded it, who have not pre-ordered it, who have not whatever. They want to go into the shop. Like the old days, go and buy the album.
There's something really nice about that.
Get it handed over. What we used to do back, and
so
then
I'm assuming you've got a turntable now.
Yes. And even if I didn't, I'd be getting one.
There's something really good about that, Paul. It's just people going in to buy the radio. That's what they want to do. Buying the physical copy, of the album, and it takes you back to, when you were a kid, what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just things like that,
So there, that's a plug for the vinyl edition of Hombres by Gun. But again, there are various different versions. And if people still want to stream on whatever platform, just make sure you're listening to it and you will not be disappointed in this album. Guys, sadly we've come to the end of the podcast. As always, it's brilliant to have you in.
It's amazing, incredible.
It's exciting, as I say. I mean, I'm just looking back and thinking how much you've done in your career, but I also think it's great when people are listening to it, just how excited you still are about this album, about the music, and I think that people feed off that. I think.
That's our job. That's what we do. That's what we're passionate about, and our second passion is obviously this football club and stuff like that. But when it comes to work, we take great pride in what we do and try our best, and keep it up, keep it for the fans
and enjoy it.
They're the most important thing about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, thank you very much, Dante and Jools, for joining us. Thank you for listening or watching wherever you are in the world. And remember, you can like the podcast, you can review it, and that always helps. And we shall be back either with players past, present, future, or maybe some other celebrity Celtic fans. The benchmark's been set pretty high for free gifts for the host. But best of luck with the album, and thanks again.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks very much. Cheers guys. Hail.